Good evening. I'm Alyssa Taylor Stewart, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Parent University workshop. This workshop is presented by our colleagues in the Office of Student Support Services. Susana Cortez, Amy Love, Dr. Jennifer Prager, and Dr. Sosa Valderrama will share valuable information about transformational social emotional learning and resources and supports available to our students. We encourage each of you to engage with the presenters by sharing comments or questions using the link in the video screen. Rebecca Fast from our Parent University team will lead the Q&A after the presentation. You guys ready? All right. Thanks for spending time with us this evening. And let's welcome Dr. Claudia Sosa Valderrama. Take it away, Claudia.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And as we've already been introduced, but again, I'm Claudia Sosa Valderrama, Director of Student Support Services, and with me is Susana Cortez. She is our Program Specialist and Lead Social Worker for our district. Also, Dr. Jennifer Prager is one of our Transformational Social Emotional Learning coaches, specifically working with our elementary schools. And Amy Love, our other Transformational Social Emotional Learning coach, and she's working with our secondary schools.
Thanks, Dr. Sosa Valderrama. It's such an honor to get to be together with our families and caregivers across the city this evening. And we want to take a moment. If we were in person, we would be engaging together in a welcoming activity. And we didn't want to skip that part, even though we're virtual. So we want to welcome, take a few minutes to do a welcoming activity with you. We invite you to get comfortable wherever you are, if you're seated or standing. If you're driving, not too comfortable, still staying alert, but want to invite you into this welcoming activity with us. And first, we want to invite you to welcome yourselves into this shared space that we're in together this evening, welcoming all parts of you, the parts that feel energized and interested and curious, as well as the parts of ourselves that might be tired with lots more to do today before the day is over. We want to invite you to welcome in the parts of you that feel fully resourced and strong, and the parts of you that might feel in need of support. We want to invite in our full community. We welcome our birth parents, adoptive parents, foster parents, and caregivers of every kind. We welcome in those who live in what have been referred to as traditional family structures, and those who are breaking the mold and helping us understand new ways of being in loving relationships. We want to welcome those of us who are representing the West Side, the top of the town, the East Side, the Central Long Beach, and all the nooks and crannies in between. Don't get mad if I missed your neighborhood. We invite us all in. We welcome all of us and our rich ancestries, all of our identities, and especially our common and collective love for the students that we're in service to here in Long Beach. Welcome, everybody. We're so grateful to be here with you this evening.
Thank you, Amy, for that beautiful welcome to our community and our schools. So just before we start, a little bit about student support services and all of the supports that we offer. They range from student health services to attendance and working with our foster youth, homeless education. Today, we're going to be focusing on our student wellness initiatives, social emotional learning. So you'll learn more about that. And so we are supporting students and staff mental health, specifically by just asking how they're doing. That makes a big difference, and people wanting to know how you're actually doing, not just, with a fine. Taking the time to get to know is important. Asking what they need, recognizing that there is vicarious trauma and a lot of grief happening right now as well, and responding with resources and care, and reinforcing systems and structures of support for our students and staff. So some of the ways that we are prioritizing wellness is we're looking at data, right? Having surveys, and we have both formal panorama and informal qualitative pulse surveys. And that's really to take the pulse of our students and our staff and how we're doing. And we're doing this more frequently, openly discussing mental health issues. Also looking at wellness centers and doing stakeholder surveys for those centers. FRC also is conducting needs assessments to see what the needs of our communities are. Another way we are prioritizing wellness is looking at mindfulness and wellness and creating mindfulness and wellness cohorts for school sites and district staff, creating groups of circles of support on campus for school staff, providing various wellness modules in staff meetings and across the district, paying staff to attend wellness trainings to cultivate compassion, optimism, and resilience. And so you might be asking, why are you paying staff to do that? We're always encouraging staff to do this, but this is an extra incentive for them to do a good job when they're in their job, but also attend these trainings, after work. So paying them for their time. Conducting restorative circles at principals meetings, conducting suicide assessment trainings and more frequently, and expanding training to other staff, and opening our high school wellness centers, which you'll hear a little bit more about later. We're contracting SEL and culture climate coaches, which you've met this afternoon or this evening, and contracting with mental health concierge. So you might have heard of Care Solace and other agencies who support the well-being of students and families and staff. So our approach, we have offered wellness initiatives, as I just mentioned, around mindfulness and social emotional learning and training. We've also expanded services in our Family Resource Center sites from 26 to 32. We're opening our high school wellness centers this year, and we're providing more school-based mental health support at some sites. However, we know that there's a shift, and we have to move to a more comprehensive, coordinated approach for both student and employee wellness. It's an essential need. We know if we don't make that change, if we don't pivot, we will have further staff shortages and burnout. And it's so important that we have adults who are well so that they are able to care for our students. So in student support services, we work closely with our Office of Curriculum and Instruction, and that department handles curriculum and the instruction to students, and that is happening. As you can see in this tree that depicts our work together, the top part is the instruction that happens with students. But before that we can provide this TSEL or transformational social emotional learning, we have to be a strong roots and a well-cultivated soil. And that's the culture and climate, the conditions for thriving that have to be available, they have to be present in order for a student to thrive. So what it looks like is, when students' identities and assets are acknowledged and affirmed, respected and valued, when students and adults feel they belong, that they have value and have a network for care and support. It's an assets-based educational experience that is personalized, inclusive, culturally relevant and responsive, and it's intentionally addressing racism and implicit bias. It's supporting the development of restorative mindsets, practices, and ways of being in a community. And students and adults have opportunities to practice, demonstrate, and reinforce transformative social and emotional skills. So you're going to hear a lot of what we're doing. Yes, we are working with our adults, our families, our staff, and this is all in support of our students' social emotional wellness. So some ways that we are engaging families is through our Family Resource Centers, which you'll hear a little bit more about today, collaborating with Parent University as we are doing today. We have a foster youth unit who works closely with families, our Bethune Homeless Education Program providing outreach to families, and then outreach through our social media, making sure that the community knows about the services available in our department and in our school district. You'll see a lot of these videos and workshops available on the YouTube channel. And then we conduct community canvassing, getting to know our communities, conducting home visits or porch visits when home visits are not safe, meeting with families, and providing parent wellness groups as well. So next, Susana Cortez will talk to us more about our high school wellness centers. Susana?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know it's a little late, but we always appreciate family participation, and more than anything to teach you of all the work that we are trying to complete to serve you and your children as best as we can. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our high school wellness centers. Next. Come on, ding. So our wellness centers are, the most important thing is that they're unique spaces in our schools. We are creating a space that really fosters our students' social and emotional health, but also teaches them how to manage it. And we are, we're barely starting. Literally, some of our centers don't even have furniture yet. But the goal is really to provide a space where our students and our staff and even our families can come to learn about early interventions, prevention, and education. But the goal really is to focus on the fact that we know that our students can't learn if they don't feel well, if they don't feel loved, if they don't feel supported. And this space is really to not only symbolize that we understand that, but that they do get those kind of supports at our wellness centers. Next slide. To learn a little bit about what our services are going to be like at our wellness centers, we are going to be offering short-term counseling. They're going to be individual sessions and also group counseling. We say short-term because we have a social worker in the center, but in the future, we hope to have interns to ensure that we support more students. Social service needs assessments. So we have a lot of assessments to ensure that we learn the entire global perspective of the student's life. How are they doing at home? How they're doing at school? How they're doing emotionally? How they're doing spiritually? So we have a lot of assessments to make sure that we capture the entire student's dynamic within the family, within the school, to make sure that we offer them the correct resources. We also have empowerment and educational workshops. In the future, we'll have peer mentorship and counseling. We hope to bring in as many parents and caregivers to offer them support based on whatever they say they feel they need. Student and family advocacy and case management. Since we do have social workers, that's a huge part of our role, that we ensure that our families and our students get the resources and the referrals they need, but also make sure that it happens. One of the things that I always say is don't just give a phone number, make sure that they call, make sure that if they need help calling, that you call with them, and that the service was provided. And if the service wasn't provided, where do we need to go to get that service? Special interest activities. So we want to use the center to also engage in not just counseling, but also things that they can practice on their own, like arts and crafts, mindfulness activities, which Amy will talk about, yoga, art, whatever our students feel will make them feel better and feel supported. That's what we want to offer at our wellness centers. We also have a basic needs closet, and it's basically our way to ensure that our students know that there's a safe place where they can ask for things that maybe they don't feel comfortable asking for, such as toiletries, such as extra clothes, backpacks, school supplies. And one of our biggest hits right now in terms of visiting the wellness center is receiving snacks. We have a lot of students that unfortunately come to school on an empty stomach, and on an empty stomach, you cannot learn. So if they come to the wellness center and they get a granola bar, and they start talking to a social worker and we start learning about their lives, that is exactly what the wellness center is about. Internal and external community resources. We want to make sure that having our social worker at the wellness center, that we're able to connect them not only with external, but also internal services. We have our foster youth unit, we have our homeless education unit, and just our school psychologists, our counselors, making sure that we're all working together, because there will never be enough people for us to really want to do everything we want to do. So we want to make sure that we're all working together and we're all on the same team. And last but not least, student, staff, and family presentations. So because we just started, right now our presentations are very introductory. We're just teaching everyone about what we're doing, what we want to do, what we envision, and just make sure that they understand that we're on campus, and most of them were very new, and we're trying to get on the map pretty much, and it's been successful so far. Next slide. Where are our wellness centers? So we have 11 wellness centers. We have one at CAMS, Browning, Renaissance, Jordan, McBride, Wilson, Sato, Lakewood, Cabrillo, Poly, and Milligan. And there are a few little photos of our centers. They look very different just based on the school. Like I said, we're building them up right now, but we're really engaging our own students and making sure that their art and whatever they feel the center should look like, that's what it is. Because one of the key things is that we don't want it to look like a classroom. We want it to look like a really unique space. And the most unique space, I think, could happen when it's their stuff and what they want and what they need. So we're really incorporating our student art, our student ideas, and slowly evolving. Next. So our first plan in anything, I think the most important thing is for our consumer, our client, our number one is our students to be heard. And what we did is that we created a survey and we launched it in all the 11 high schools. And we did a student survey, a family survey, and a staff survey. And the survey was really to get a pulse as to what our students, staff, and family want. What is it that they would benefit from? We asked questions about, do you feel connected to school? If you don't, how would you feel connected to school? If we had workshops, what kind of workshops would you be interested in attending? What kind of activities would you like to do? And we're very happy to have such a high percentage of families, staff, and students participating. And we're still reading the ones we do have. As you can imagine, there was a lot of feedback, but that was the goal, that we really want this to be a student-driven center. And the first thing that we wanted to do is to make sure that we hear them. Just a couple of examples of how their initial feedback is so important is that they're naming the centers. We want kids to name their own center because that's going to be for them. So we're working on that right now. Some of our centers decided to keep wellness. Some of them are creating names. Some of them already picked it, and some are still voting. They also chose the types of workshops and presentations that they would be interested in. And every school is completely different as to their interest, which is great because we're trying to tailor it to every school. They're also choosing what kind of activities they want. And last but not least, all of our social workers are tasked to create some sort of committee to make sure that post-survey, we continue to incorporate the vision of our students. So the goal of the committee is that they're always going to be hearing what our students want. Well, maybe at the beginning they wanted something, but now they want to shift it into something else. We just want to make sure that we're listening to what it is that they want from their wellness center. Next. And last but not least, just to give you a sense of how we've been doing for the month of September, I'm very happy to share that we've had 2,797 walk-ins and brain breaks. So what that means basically is that a student walked into our center and talked to the social worker or grabbed a flyer or just said, hello, what's this all about? Or they came into class during academic instruction because they needed a little break. Whatever the break was about, they used the center. That's what that means. Referrals received, we received 413 referrals, and those referrals could be staff, they could be parent, or they could be student. And that means that they wanted to meet with one of our team members to ensure, for many different reasons. Counseling intakes, those are the amount of sessions that have occurred so far with our social workers. And last but not least, staff consultations, which make me extremely happy, is that our staff went to one of our team members to ask for advice, to ask for tools, to ask for guidance, to ask for information, and they came to the wellness center for it, which is really important because we want to support our staff as well. And I think that's mine, yeah.
All right, and I know we're not interacting, and there is a way for you to ask questions. There is a link. And so at the end of our presentation, there'll be an opportunity and we will try to answer as many of your questions that you have. So just pause and think about what you've heard, and are you encouraged to know what is happening? What do you want to know more about? So just some information about our family resource centers. Dr. Simon and Chandler Taylor, who have joined us for other trainings, were not able to be here, but I do want to give you some information about our FRCs because they provide a really valuable resource to our students. And the FRCs provide social, emotional, and behavioral health supports to students. And we're expanding from 26 schools now to serving 32 Long Beach Unified School Districts this school year. The FRC staff provide individual counseling, group counseling, classroom presentations, staff professional development, parent groups, and parent webinars. FRCs connect students and their families to community resources, such as community mental health referrals, legal aid, housing support, food, immigration services, Medi-Cal, etc. And they also provide free online resources to staff and parents on social emotional learning. So there are 15 total FRC staff. There are a total of 12 pupil personnel services providers. So those are school counselors and school psychologists, as well as 3 social workers, 15 total. Where are the FRCs? There's actually 4 FRCs. There's one in the North region, serving the schools in the North region. And there are 4 staff supporting that. So although there are in one school site, they're supporting all of these schools. FRC West region also has 4 staff and then supporting the schools in that region. FRC Downtown Central region, again, they have 3 staff and they're supporting the Downtown Central region schools. FRC East region has 4 staff and they are supervising the schools on the East region. So some questions you might have is, what's the difference between FRC and the wellness centers? The FRC support our elementary and middle schools, and our wellness centers support our high schools. So anybody can refer to the FRCs, whether it's a parent, a student, an administrator, anybody in the support staff, a counselor, a teacher. All they have to do is access the Family Resource Center page on our district website and they can submit a referral. The services are completely free. Counseling provided by Long Beach Unified School District counselors, psychologists, and social workers. There is no insurance required. And although Medi-Cal information may be requested for connections to another school-based mental health service, it is not a requirement. Okay, so more information about FRCs, and just think about what you've heard and anything else that you would like to know. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our social transformational, social emotional learning coaches, Amy and Dr. Prager.
Thanks, y'all. Dr. Prager's like, you go first. We love this. We're going to be completely transparent with you all. Dr. Prager and I are middle-aged mothers. And when we made this slide, we thought we looked really cool. And now we're looking at it like we're trying really hard to stay cool and relevant in the lives of our children. So if you can relate to that as a parent caregiver, I just invite you to raise your hand wherever you are, even though we can't see you. We are your siblings in that mission to stay relevant and cool. I'm Amy Love. I'm a transformational social emotional learning coach for our middle and high schools.
I'm Jennifer Prager. I'm the transformative social emotional coach at the elementary schools. More importantly, Amy and I are both parents of children who have either been in Long Beach Unified Schools or are currently in them. So we're always excited to present with Parent University. So we want to ground our work for all of you who are here this evening. Our work is directly related to Pillar 2 in Superintendent Baker's Learning and Acceleration Support Plan. Pillar 2 focuses on social emotional well-being. Our charge in the Division of Student Support Services is to support the implementation of Tier 1 strategies for climate and culture. And we do that by focusing specifically on specifically on transformative social emotional learning, adult SEL, and cultivating safe and supportive environments through both teaching, teacher coaching, and professional development. So one thing that happened is we were engaged in a lot of research to find the most impactful best practices for culture and climate. And out of that research, 5 themes have emerged. And our team is determined to be the most consistently reflected in the research. We have called or coined or named these conditions for thriving. So as we look at them, you'll notice that these conditions for thriving in this diagram are intertwined and they overlap and they're interconnected. And this is in supportive of school communities where everyone is seen, heard, and valued. That's at the core of all the work that we do. And these are calls to action. You can see these calls to action around the outsides of the circles for all 5 conditions. So for relational trust and engagement, show me that I matter to you. Safety and belonging, help me know and feel I belong here. For restorative practices, show me how we are interconnected and responsible for each other. In T-cell and wellness, teach, model, and practice with me all the ways we can thrive. And in cultural responsiveness and inclusivity, see all of me and include me.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Prager. Our job really is professional development and coaching. Dr. Prager and I are both teachers, and we spend all of our days actually here in the district either doing training, professional development, coaching teachers and administrators and counselors, or working directly with youth. And we're supporting folks in the system with creating learning environments in which all people, students and adults alike, are seen, heard, and valued. And we do this in a variety of ways. And one of our most treasured ways is to support our parents. And so we're very lucky to get to support our parents by providing parent wellness series through Parent University. Keep your eyes peeled for some advertisements that will be coming through your Twitter feed or your Instagram. We'll be offering some parent wellness soon this fall through Parent University. We're excited about it. We're developing a 4-week series on wellness by listening to the lessons that the natural world provides for us. So the wind, the earth, the fire, the water, it's going to be really exciting. We also provide monthly parent wellness through some different parent affinity groups at select sites. We also support our district by providing professional development for our administrators, and we're really excited to be rolling out, can you see it above my shoulder, these conditions for thriving for our principals and our counselors. And we do that through our principals' monthly admin meetings. We also support the teachers in our system. We are teachers, and so it's our great honor to also support teachers. We do that through a variety of ways as well. We offer teacher wellness series after school where teachers are paid to come to professional development to learn about a variety of different ways where they can care for themselves, which has proven to be particularly impactful, as you know, through these past couple of years. We also provide teacher professional development during the school day on the 5 conditions for thriving. We provide restorative justice in schools to support teachers. We also provide engaged mindfulness cohorts where we take groups of teachers and support them through coordinated study of mindfulness and how teachers can use mindfulness for their own self-care and also for the students that we're in service to. We also provide one-on-one small group support with teachers at the elementary and middle school level. And then we also do work with our students. We do direct restorative justice work with students at the middle school level. We do engaged mindfulness through our wellness series, where we get to share mindfulness directly with our youth at the wellness centers that Susanna was teaching us about earlier. And we also have the unique opportunity to provide integrated transformative social emotional learning for our elementary school students through the arts. Next slide. Yeah. So we want to pause again. We believe in a good brain break when folks have learned a lot of new information, to just pause for a moment, to ask you to reflect on what you just learned about all of the good work that's happening to support parents and teachers and administrators and students in our school district. Hopefully there are some things that you feel encouraged by, that you now know are happening. And we also want to engage your curiosity. We want to know what you want to know more about. What are you curious about? So if you have a piece of paper nearby, or if you're wanting to go to the chat, we invite you to do that. And we'll see if we have time to answer some questions. Let's do questions now, actually, and then we can do our optimistic closure after questions. So I wonder if there are questions that we can support our families with, Rebecca?
Yes, thank you so much for providing all this information, but all the different resources and services that your team is providing for our students. It's awesome. But we did have a couple parents who have some questions. So here we go. This is, I guess, for the team, but more specifically regarding the wellness centers. Are there wellness centers in elementary or middle schools? And I know you had addressed that the FRC could take the place of that, or if students have those same wants, they could go to the FRC. One parent asked even further, is there any plan to have wellness centers in our elementary or middle schools? Kind of
so currently we do not have wellness centers at the elementary or middle schools. Although there are social emotional learning initiatives in those schools, the wellness centers currently are only with our high schools. And, we would love to be able to have them everywhere in our district. We are taking data. It's the first year we're doing them, and we are seeing just great results. This very first, well, now it's almost 2 months that we've had this center at the high school. So we're encouraged that we will have really great data showing how impactful and useful they are for our students.
Awesome. This one is getting back to Dr. Prager and Ms. Love about the curriculum in elementary schools. Do you have any real specific examples of what maybe a kid might have on a daily basis, or what might a student do something in a daily activity? The question really got into the weeds. I'll honor the question here by reading it specifically. It says, is there social emotional learning curriculum? What is the curriculum? Is it second step, harmony, etc.? So they were asking what, and I'm just adding on, what might a student do in a day?
So in the elementary schools specifically, schools right now use a combination of what they thought met the needs of their students best. So some schools do use harmony, some do use second step, some use zones of regulation. They've accessed a variety of curriculum that they felt supported their students at the site. Additionally, starting last year, curriculum was written at the elementary level, unpacking some lessons to use district-wide for all elementary schools, and those still exist. So teachers are unpacking those with students in a developmental way, that the lessons build on each other and unpack skills. And then ultimately there will be a district-adopted SEL curriculum for elementary level students.
And at the middle and high school level, the approach to transformative social emotional learning is a more integrated approach. So in our middle schools and high schools, on a daily basis, students should be interacting with what are called the signature practices. They should be welcomed into their classrooms through specific welcoming activities. They should be invited to participate in what are called engaging strategies that not only engage them in their academic content, but also are utilized and designed to help our students grow their social emotional learning competencies. And also at the end of their class periods, students should be invited into what we call optimistic closure, where the teachers spend some time helping students gather the information that they've learned and to think forward in a really proactive way.
I love that. Ending on a good note. Looking forward. Those are all the questions we have right now. So thank you for that pause. And that's all we have for now.
Okay, so I will. Are you ready for the next slide?
So we want to build upon just what Amy said with this idea that when we wrap up something that we are unpacking, that we do it in an optimistic way. And we're going to take tonight's learning for you and support you in that process. You'll remember Amy welcomed us, and now we're going to get you doing some optimistic closure in an activity we call Rosebud Thorn. We want you to reflect on all of the information you've heard this evening, and it's been a lot. We understand there's been a lot that you heard, hopefully a lot that was really exciting to you, and hopefully there was some new learning, and letting you know that your child's well-being is important to us. So in Rosebud Thorn, there's 3 parts. And Amy asked if you had a piece of paper, and it's fine. If you have one, you could write these things down, or you could just think about them and reflect for yourself. For Rose, what ideas from today's lesson really are resonating with you, really are sitting with you, that just they hit you in a way where it's very impactful? Think about that. And then for the bud, what ideas are still taking form? What's just peeking out there, just starting to become visible, just coming to the surface for you, and you really want to know more about? You're curious about that. And then for your thorn, what was something that was tough for you to understand? What is something you definitely have some questions about that you would like to understand more? And we also encourage you to take these thoughts and ideas and maybe even, be inspired and share what you've heard with your schools, and that you're exciting for all this learning that's taking place. Amy, do you have anything else to add to that?
I love this idea to pause and to think about what resonates with us, what's taking form, and really want to invite you to even share your rose, your buds, and your thorns with your local school where your students are, where your children are attending. We really value each of your voices and your participation, and want to hear with you. And I know that our principals welcome your involvement in every way. And I'm going to do like a shameless plug and ask our slide angel to go back up to slide 23. It's really important for us. We're here in our offices. Keep going back, Dr. Sosa, till you get to the squad one. We want y'all to know what we're up to. We do a tremendous amount of heart work. It's hard work, and it's heart work to ensure that our students and parents and staff members feel equally valued, seen, and heard. And so we've just a couple weeks ago started to use social media to help connect with our communities, so that you can see, and every day we're posting some little something that we're out in the field doing in ways that we're supporting, that we hope will be inspiring to you, and we want to share it with you. So shameless plug for our Twitter and Instagram accounts. And so if you're on Twitter, we would love to follow you and for you to follow us at LBUSD_TSEL, standing for Transformational Social Emotional Learning. And if you're on the gram, again, sounding like not cool. We're at LBUSD _ TSEL lowercase. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to get to connect with you. I think we're done early. Like, do we get to, like, there's nothing, you know, as teachers, we don't usually let the students out of class early, but are we in class early? I don't know.
We can let it go. Or since we have time, there is one more question that just came through. Are you up for it? That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's an interesting one. And as a parent, I have this wondering myself. So this is a parent who's wondering, if my student frequents the wellness center at a high school, if they are in there very often, will parents ever be notified, or will parents be contacted?
So typically, no, parents wouldn't be notified. If we are making referrals to community mental health, then that does require parent notification. But that, you know, it just depends. You know, they can go to the wellness center. The wellness center is not a mental health clinic. It's really meant to be a prevention, somewhere where they can go kind of distress. So it's not mental health support. If mental health support is necessary, then we will be, you know, making a referral, and for that to see a mental health outside agency, that does require parent permission and consent.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, that was a parent of a high schooler, so they did have that wondering. And then I was kind of pausing to see if any other questions were going to come through, but I think that is about it. So we are ending early. So thank you, everybody. I'm looking at the team here. On behalf of Parent University, I want to thank all of the caregivers and all of the families who joined us this afternoon. If you want to share this link with family members or friends who might have missed us today live at 5, that link is still live. So you can share this link and re-watch this workshop and share as you please. And I'm sure we'll post in our social media too. We'll try to get as hip as the team over at Tucker and get on the gram too. We'll try to share this out there. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Media Services, and we'll see you next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.